In Minecraft we have three dimensions, the surface, the nether, and the end. But what would happen if Minecraft had more dimensions? Is that possible? The reality is that right now it is quite unlikely. However, in a recent snapshot of 1.19, it was confirmed that the main structure of the ancient cities is a portal. And we know this because in these cities there is this interesting structure, and this small structure is called in the game files a small statue portal, and it has a gigantic resemblance to that mega construction that is found in the center of the cities, making us understand that it is a model. Surely in school you'll have made a model. These small statues are made by architects to represent something that will become much bigger later, and thanks to its small model we know that this is indeed a portal. But if one day we can activate this portal, where would it take us? Well, there are two theories. The first theory is to a new dimension, and the second theory is to connect these portals with others and those be able to travel from point A to point B. I see this second theory as more probable, since in the old biome boat, a curious stone portal could be seen in the background. Apparently this portal was turned off. However, the developers suddenly traveled to other biomes, as if it were the work of the portal. Or it is also possible that it is a portal but the player never can open it, and it's just decorative. But in this video we are going to assume the craziest possibility that Mojang is planning new dimensions to Minecraft, and for that we will go to our interdimensional time machine. Let's go! We have arrived. Oh my god, just look at this place. It is impressive. When we talk about new dimensions, they mean new blocks and clearly new enemies. It is always interesting to discover new creatures and all the surprises that new dimension has. Like for example, new minerals with the possibility of new tools and armor. Imagine that in this dimension you have to be very quiet without making noise, and also be crouched all the time so that no creature detects you. All of us will love to explore new dimensions, and not only the speculation of the Warden's portal, we are talking about having other types of dimensions. Obviously, I am not referring to those typical YouTube clickbait dimensions. This wouldn't be possible. These types of dimensions are too absurd. What I'm referring to are those dimensions that you could arrive. For example, imagine a dimension that can go to the moon, a special dimension. Well, so far Mojang hasn't touched on space at all, and without a doubt, reaching the moon would be very interesting. Curiously, a dimension of the moon would be something possible, because some Minecraft developers have said space would be great. Imagine adding another type portal and take you to Mars or something like that. Obviously, that doesn't mean that they will add space to the game, but it's funny how they had this idea too. Just imagine how funny it would be to find a lot of dungeons and structures in space. But what other dimensions Mojang would be able to add to the game? Because, believe it or not, some of the most famous dimensions of Minecraft mods and add-ons would be quite similar to what Mojang would do. But wait a minute, you're telling me that Mojang will copy some of the ideas of the most famous mods? Well, yes, that happens quite often. Mojang is constantly analyzing the most downloaded mods, and those take it as a reference to add new things. In fact, on my YouTube Spanish channel and in a future in this channel, we have a series about it, where I explain where many of the ideas came from. For example, the A blocks came from this mod. Being able to make the stairs have a corner came from the Better Blocks mod, where interestingly they added them almost at the same time as the mod. Also, the Hooper system came out of this mod here. The slime blocks come from a mod. Even this typical Minecraft biome is inspired by the Dark Forest biome. Look, that's identical. But one of the most interesting examples is when they saw the horse mod, a mod that added a lot of different horses. Mojang hired the creator of that mod so that they did the Minecraft horses, so dimensions like the Twilight Forest would be possible in the game. If one day the developers make a new dimension, it would be very similar to what we have in the mods. But I will explain why adding dimensions is a bad idea. First, think about all the code and programming that Mojang would have to do. If Mojang had a lot of problems making all the new caves, so much so that they had to split the version of the caves in two, just imagine the problems that would arise when making a new dimension. But the real problem with the new dimensions would be that the player enters this new dimension, comes back with all the new items and all the new blocks, and never comes back. Absolutely all the dimensions of the mods simply serve to get new resources, but they really have no other purpose. But the 3 dimensions of Minecraft are completely different, because the game forces you to go to these 3 dimensions to pass Minecraft. You need to pass for 3 dimensions necessarily. On the surface is where you spawn and where you get the basic things. In the nether, you get the blaze wands to make the ice. And finally the end is the final battle. And what happens when we add dimension that it has nothing to do with this line, because it becomes something secondary. It would be a padding and optional dimension. Yes, people would get their new items and that's it, but it wouldn't have as much importance as all the other dimensions. In fact, this already happens with the End Islands, because the End Islands are found after the final battle and it becomes secondary. Once you kill the dragon, you get into the portal, you get enough shulkers, you get your elytras, and that's it. If you take a few elytras and some shulkers, you won't be back for a long time, because these islands are just secondary and anyone can live without elytras and no shulkers. And believe me, I witnessed that shulkers and elytras are not that important. Obviously, they make too many things easier, but when I was on the Elitecraft 1 server, I used the same elytras for the whole series and never went back to the cities. And in fact, you practically never use shulkers. Yes, I had one that they gave me, but I never really used them, and that I spent building all the time. Just using my ender chest gave me enough space, and I'm sure many of you also agree with what I am saying. If we want a dimension to really serve a great purpose and be too much fun, it will have to become part of the major narrative in Minecraft. For example, imagine that to make Ender's Eyes, you now need blazers and an artifact from this new dimension. So we would that Minecraft gameplay is much more interesting, and also this dimension would be really important and not something secondary. Obviously, this change would really affect speedrunning. People could no longer pass Minecraft in less than 10 minutes, for example. The safest thing is that it would increase twice the time to beat the game. In my personal opinion, it would be quite fun, and I will love it, but I'm sure the community will complain too much. So Mojang, surely if they add a new dimension, it would be like the cities of the end, something completely secondary. As I was saying, I wouldn't like at all the dimension that takes so long to appear, because it has simply been forgotten. It's not something important. Another idea that occurs to me is that no player can mine ancient debris with diamond pickaxe. Imagine that in this supposed new dimension, we are able to get a special pickaxe, and this kind of pickaxe is the only one capable of mining the netherite, and thus to get the most powerful armor in the game, it is necessary to go through the new dimension. If one day Mojang adds a new dimension, they will have to think very carefully what their purpose would be, so that it's not quickly forgotten. Subscribe, leave your like, and tell me what you think below in the comments. Click here to watch the most recent video.